This episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Netflix. Today on TRS, submarines, nuclear missiles, and Andre Braugher are all part of this new TV show, Last Resort.
So we are finishing up this week of new shows being thrown at your TV box with Last Resort on ABC. Also, it airs tonight on ABC. Andre Braugher, Robert Patrick, Scott Speedman, others.
Submarine.
Shawn Ryan, part of the creating team.
Yes, created
you know
The
from
Shield,
The Shield.
the best show ever.
So the concept for Last Resort, give me a minute here, is going to take a second. A nuclear-class submarine, a U.S. submarine, is given the order to fire some nukes onto Pakistan, but through some weird back channels, they hesitate, just try to get confirmation. They are then attacked. Through a series of figure-outsies, they figure out that it was actually us that attacked our own submarine. And they decide to sequester themselves on an island where attractive people live and say, if you come mess with our island, we will nuke all you effers. And so they're there on their last resort. So that happened. That is what the show. That is the pilot. That is what the show
That is the pilot.
is.
I will say that is the whole pilot.
Yeah.
You just sort of explained it. Yeah.
Well, but that's like the premise of the show.
It's also the premise of the show.
How else would you explain the premise of the show?
I know,
because it's not a submarine show.
Well, let me say, I know
it's a resort show.
But there was a lot of joy for me.
And I knew that. I knew
I
that
didn't
premise
really know.
going in.
I thought it was a submarine show, and I knew there was something, whatever. But so
what did you think?
Yeah, that's what I was going to go into. Like the first half is Crimson Tide, but the cool thing is that it's Crimson Tide if it ended differently, and the series is dealing with that different ending ramifications.
Yeah.
I watched the show a couple of times just to kind of understand quite how. Like when I made it to the end, I was like, "Whoa!" When I found out what the show was, I was like, because as it was going, I was like, and then a turn would happen, and I was like, oh, that, and then it turned a few times into what it became. So I wanted to go back and see how that worked to really process it. And it's funny, the reaction I had to the show is very similar to my reaction to 2012 and Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Oh, you loved it?
Which is, I'm kind of halfsies on the loving it or not. But what I love about the show is that it freaking goes there. Like it is the joy of like it's not like based on a true story, like kind of inspired by some event, like sort of real. It feels plausible. It's like no, like it's a nuclear sub and World War III is happening, and like it's really going to be about majors. It could go in any direction it wants to, and crazy people can make crazy, insane decisions, and nuclear missiles are going to be launched.
Insane decisions.
We're going to see crazy things happen. It's just got like a mind of its own, and like, oh my God, like no other show. Jeff earlier this week complaining both shows procedural and like whatever. Like there's no other show on TV that has ever operated this way, and there's no fiction like this. I mean, probably books. But
there's no way to know for sure.
We don't really, I mean, so incredible. I didn't love how it was. I wish it was made as boldly as its story was to be told. Didn't love all the performances at every moment, but every performance had its moments. And yeah, it wasn't shot very dynamically. I would have loved it to feel more cinematic. It felt very TV.
Yeah.
And there's some, I mean, there's piloty moments, but whatever. But even though, I will say, like, there's a very piloty moment with the hot chick who did something on the sub, and she's having a conversation about what she did on the sub in a sex scene, kind of. But this, I will say, I wasn't bored watching that.
Wait, because in a sex scene?
Yeah,
she's like seducing
one of
the
guy
openings,
and seducing the guy and telling him about all the
giving him
submarine
exposition.
details.
She's like, exposition. Let's have exposition. Yeah.
But I prefer that to, that's what I was referring to when we talked about Vegas, where they're just talking about, they're just sitting in an environment talking about things. That scene was at least dynamic, you know? So I'm just referencing a comment that I made earlier, proving a point. It wasn't a great scene. But I think it was just necessary pilot scene. I just, so yeah.
So it sounds like you're
it's
hooked.
got
Are you
issues.
gonna be...
I was on watching like, I don't really, whatever, but that's interesting. I don't. But then when I got to the end, I was like, wait a second, Dan, think back on what just happened. Like, some crazy crap just happened, and some crazy stuff is going to happen.
So you're gonna watch?
Drink your juice.
I'm gonna watch.
This is not a wait and see
got its sea
moment
legs
for you.
I mean, I'm a little bit wait and see. I will actually wait and see.
Yeah.
But I once again, the cast didn't fire on all cylinders. All the cast, I feel like, I don't know, but I see potential in me starting to love that
Missile
actor
Tube
and
1
that
was
character.
firing on all cylinders.
Yeah. I just
Okay.
think, whoa, dude, I
Interesting.
can't believe this is a show.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's high praise with the whoa, dude, I can't believe this is a show from Dan Trachtenberg. Jeff, what did you think of the show that whoa, dude is a show?
As I've said numerous times, love Shawn Ryan, worship at his feet. S.H.I.E.L.D. is the best show of all time. I follow him on Twitter, and he
thanks you.
He's been tweeting about the Last Resort for a long time, so I have been ravenously anticipating this, and expectations through the roof. He's been retweeting people that have seen the pilot, are like, oh my God, that's how you do a pilot. Super high expectations. I feel conflicted about the pilot. I have to say it did not live up to my expectations, and I was a little bit bummed by some of it. I relate a lot to what you're saying, Dan, and here's the reason I'm conflicted. This is not going to be what the show is at all. This is an hour of setup, and it is so compressed, and there's so much they have to sell in such a short amount of time. It should have been a 2-hour pilot, and we should have had time to breathe in all those moments, because so much happens and such heightened things happen that you get to these moments where these guys are making these incredibly dire decisions based on such little information and such small amounts of time that you're like, well, why are you doing that? Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
You know, and I never felt like we had the time. They have such an impossible job. You have to be introduced to all the characters on the boat, all the characters off the boat, the concept that this could happen, how this might happen, the subtext or underpinnings of a conspiracy, setting up that there's this island that has these certain properties that make it desirable for them to stay. Like, so much has to happen. And we're also supposed to believe all the big twists along the way, and in such a compressed amount of time that I felt like I can't even judge the show based on this, because it felt so abrupt. Every twist felt so abrupt to me. But I think now that we're on the island, it's a whole new show in a large sense, and we're going to really see the pacing is going to be completely different.
Well, we don't know what the show is.
Right. Here's where my concern is. Tonally, I feel like it's all over the place. Like, you're talking about that one scene with the girl, and there's scenes that are sort of wacky and weird, and yet other scenes that are super serious and Crimson Tidey, and it's aiming for that, like, Tom Clancy verisimilitude, you know?
You know, when you say that, it's a little Battlestar Galactica.
I agree, but Battlestar Galactica works because it's sci-fi and we're in this weird place anyway.
Right.
And here, it's supposed to be,
Grounded
this could
in-
happen.
But it's not really, but it's like, no one knows what it's like when the things that are happening in the show are going to happen. It's like all bets are off in a way,
and you're also by necessity sort of stuck in this little place that you don't get to see average Joe on the street.
Right.
You're only ever in heightened places, so it's kind of
Average Joe in tube number 3. Not
Yeah.
average Joe walking on the street was like, wow, what happened with Pakistan?
So I'm not writing this off. I was disappointed by the pilot, but I have high hopes for what it could become, and I completely agree with you that, like, the premise is so awesome that it deserves me to continue watching it.
Yeah, I did not have high expectations. This was your Elementary was my last resort. Like, oh, I guess we're watching Last Resort. Okay. I had heard the premise and went, well, that's odd, and I don't know if I would buy that premise. And in execution, it came off to me as odd and implausible. And though all stories theoretically could be implausible, you know what I mean? Like, there's always that, I'm just gonna let it happen because whatever, this story is gonna be, watching X-Men, it's not like I go, well, that isn't gonna happen, you know what I mean? Like, I get the concept of going, okay, that happened.
Suspending disbelief.
Yeah, exactly. That was the long way of saying, I get that you're supposed to suspend your disbelief. But with this, it was a little hard to swallow. I also think, I think you really nailed it. I think tonally, it's all over the place. There are scenes that, there are scenes that I was really, there's this admiral guy whose daughter may or may not have had a problem, and when he's first presented with that information, I was like, that's a great scene. Didn't really care for the girl in the scene, but I was like, that is a great scene. It's Brian something, right? The guy who was
from X-Men.
From X-Men, yeah. I knew there was a reason I brought up X-Men.
Always playing a senator.
And Andre Braugher, for the most part, I'm in for whatever he does. But I think
his
you're
monologue
right.
at the end is awesome.
Yeah, his monologue at the end.
Monologue at the end is the only was like
gave me chills. I was like, oh shit.
Just crazy enough. But for me, there were scenes where it was like Andre Braugher and Scott Speedman, and I was like, what is happening? Like, I like both these actors. I'm interested in this weird sort of political machinations that are going on, but I feel like I've just been given information in 2 sentences that would be a 15-minute amazing scene.
Totally.
And I'm like, I don't, what? And
Same
I think
thing with that
really,
senator stuff.
100%.
It was like we're
So
supposed
fast.
to care about him and her, and we're in and out.
Yeah, and I think I think you also really nailed it, where it's like, so much information is given to you that the turns, people are doing massive things.
I had to watch it twice. I was like, wait,
but they're doing it in 2 seconds. It's like they're going, I'll have a fillet of fish. Oh, you're out of fillet of fish? Crap.
I'm gonna murder the kitchen.
Big Mac? It's like that that time decision is the amount of time decision that they're going, let's attack the United States with a rocket.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know what I mean? It's like that's a fish sandwich decision time.
My problem with the reason why I had to watch it twice is because when those happened, it didn't land on me. I didn't feel like, oh, that's not that important yet. Well, it'll like, you know what it feels like? It feels like a dream. It feels like, oh, they're gonna wake up and it's gonna have been a dream. So I don't want to care about this yet. Let me just see what the next scene is. And then that's why when I reach the end, I go, oh no. All of that was legit. All of that was like for real. Go back and watch that and like see what was going on.
It should have been a 2-hour backdoor pilot movie.
Yeah.
That's like Battlestar Galactica.
And the other thing is,
the
other thing is, I have no idea what this show is going to be day to day. And if this show day to day is going to be, attractive people on a beach, what? Why is this? Why does this show have to be?
Like what is? I think it's going to be
terrible.
Crazy. And I think they're not off the sub. The sub is a set.
Sub is there.
It's a set, but I mean that's where they're sleeping. But it's literally the place they're sleeping on.
They'll have to like take it around the other side of the people are now they're being attacked.
Well, the idea is they have a sovereign nation and they're at war with the United States, which is pretty crazy.
And potentially everyone.
So
else.
Are you guys on for?
You just convinced me back in, and now I am gonna watch.
I'm
gonna definitely watch at least 2 more episodes.
Yeah.
Just to see where the hell it's going, but I
think this is definitely a wait and see for me. There wasn't anything that really. Some of the performances I was like, boy, I don't. And it was shot very TV.
Yeah,
very TV.
Everything that's like you said, it's like
stuff.
even the.
It is the content is a little crazy. I mean, I almost want to see it because you're gonna watch the crazy person.
We're not gonna watch it.
It could be Lost. It could be. It could be the next Lost. It really could.
Oh man, I don't know about
It does
that.
have the potential to be water cooler. Conversation.
Maybe. We'll see. That is it. Last resort. We will find out tonight on ABC. Whoop. All right, everybody, be sure to stick around. We're going to be answering one of your Twitter questions right after this. But first, we want to thank our sponsors, creepily turning to Dan.
Yes. Netflix is the sponsor. Nothing creepy about it, because 26 million of you are members. But if you're not in that 26 million
That's
number,
creepy.
you should join. You can instantly watch thousands of titles on a vast array of devices. There's a lot of veracity to what I'm saying.
Oh,
The Xbox 360, the PS3, the Nintendo Wii, your Apple devices, iPhone 5, baby, your Kindle, your Nook, all can stream instantly TV shows and movies.
Yep.
TV show, I've been actually watching Once Upon a Time. That is now free on Netflix.
Oh,
a lot of
yeah.
fun, that show.
Really? You like that, huh?
It's not a great show, but it's a lot of fun. And if you see
mean,
promos, watch it for free.
Enough for him to go find it on Netflix and continue watching it. So
Watch
there's
it.
something there.
Watch it for free on Netflix. Also, The Gray is now out on Netflix.
Nice.
Great movie.
Yeah, definitely worth.
I was kissed by a rose on the gray. No?
Go ahead. Just keep going. Just keep talking.
Anyway, as a new member and a TRS viewer, you can get a free 30-day trial membership. Go to
Love free.
netflix.com/TRS and sign up and use that URL so that they know that we sent you.
Amazing.
Do it.
Get your backgrounds in.
Oh,
Fans
yeah.
at TotallyRadShow.com.
Get your artwork on our show, bros.
Get your artwork, homie.
Join us tomorrow for our review of Looper.
Today's Twitter question sent in with the hashtag #TRSQ. Thank you for copying that into there, Mike. Isaac Ford at Isaac Hunter Ford. I remember pronouncing this name. Isaac Chunter Ford. What are some of your favorite miniseries or TV movies? I personally like Generation Kill and You Don't Know Jack. Interesting question.
Yeah, very interesting question.
I'm gonna go
Probably
old
should've
school.
thought about it
I'm
a
gonna go
little.
old school and say V.
I say Roots.
No, yeah, Roots is actually a really good one, but V
never
was
saw
a
Roots.
miniseries, I think, originally.
Angels in America. Yeah. I was saying
Smile face.
The Lost Room. Done
Ah,
and done. Done and
of
done.
course.
Done
That
and
wins.
That's the
done.
answer. That's
That
the
wins.
answer.
That is the answer. There's no other.
I thought you were
It's
like
the best.
glee over Angels in. Yes, I love Angels in America.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Ah, it's great on stage. I didn't think that the movie version was all that.
So Lost Room.
Lost
Good
Room.
answer
Lost
all around. Thank
Room.
you, Isaac.